attachment. Now, what I'm going to explain in these next 4 videos is comprehensive. You could almost call it a guide. It's my own knowledge, so I can speak from it or speak with it, and maybe this can be helpful for anyone who is feeling any suffering really, because what I will expose is how suffering comes to this existence, how it's generated, and why we choose to hold on to it. Now, first we must identify our attachments. Within this life, we attach onto something which is causing this suffering. It could be a belief. Most of the time it is a belief because it doesn't truly exist, and that is the very existence of the suffering. We will go into this later. When we are comprehending attachment, or the perception of attachment, we must understand that this very attachment is fueling off our suffering. It is the very existence of our suffering. By us suffering, it's taking form of existence. Otherwise, if we did not suffer, it would not exist. And this is the truth. Now, we can take this truth and look at it within our lives in any aspect. We look at our reality, we look at our life, and we see that where we are suffering, something is within existence of that suffering. Something is using our suffering for its existence. This could be relationships, this could be family, this could be friendships, this could be work colleagues, this could be anything which has affected us within experience which we are holding on to. Now, it's not our fault that we're holding on to it, because it's actually holding on to us. And how it does this is it examines our greatest strengths and our greatest weaknesses within our awareness. It knows what our strengths are. Therefore, it ultimately uses our strengths to its greatest advantage. It ultimately convinces us that we need this suffering for it to never... So it basically, what it does, it convinces us that we need this suffering. We need the suffering in our lives, otherwise our lives wouldn't will be... It's very unique for everyone, this. So we feel, or we choose to hang on to the suffering because we feel that our lives will not be complete without it. And now this is our greatest strength, because it has a lot of truth to it. Because the reason why we're suffering is because we are currently on the pinnacle moment of either choosing to suffer, surrendering to suffering, or choosing to understand, to accept this. And by accepting the suffering, what we're doing is we're actually raising our existence out of the suffering. And this is the most beautiful thing we have the true power to do, is that we actually raise ourselves by accepting our reality. We raise ourselves out of that suffering, and we choose to acknowledge that truth, or that existence where the suffering is taking place. Acknowledge it for what it is and for whatever it wants to do. Accept it and acknowledge it. Now, we don't need to move on, because we know moving on is going to cause pain. We don't need to run away, because we know running away is just going to cause pain. We don't need to shut everything down and think that we have to close the door forever, because we know by doing that we're only running away and we're only going to cause more pain. The truth being that as long as we can accept whatever that existence is which is causing the suffering, just accept it, acknowledge it, and don't tell ourselves... We don't need to tell ourselves that we need to run away or we need to block it from us. Just by accepting is all that needs to take place. We'll wrap this up into a part 2.